No rest for the wicked. Hello everyone, Adrienne here. So, before we get into today's music review, I do want to give a shout out to a very talented artist. Her name is Suitably Sinister and she is on Instagram. And she has created a lot of portraits of goth YouTubers who have collaborated on a special project with Mama Goth, myself included. And she did this absolutely amazing portrait of me right here. I just love how it kind of straddles the line aesthetically between Edward Gorey and Tim Burton, and I really love the artistic style of it. I love the curly hair, I love the detail around the eyes, all of that. It's just breathtaking. And I also love the attention to detail that she gave to my earrings too, so she did an amazing job. I'm really happy with it. She's actually going to be sending it to me in the mail because it's gorgeous. I just love it. So don't forget to check her out on Instagram and show her some support. I would really appreciate it. So Wisborg has already come out with a new album. They set a very high bar for themselves in their first album, so I wondered if they would be able to top themselves in this new album. Spoiler alert, they did. Alright, so about, I would say a month ago, I was messaged by Konstantin, who is the lead singer of Wisborg, and he said, hey, my new album's going to be coming out soon, would you like to get it early so you can review it on your YouTube channel? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Hell yeah! Because I absolutely loved their first album. It was just so impressive, it blew me away. So I gave him my address and he sent it all the way from Germany, and I got it about a couple weeks ago, and I've had plenty of time to listen to it, analyze it, study it, and form an opinion. I'm so excited to share it with you guys. So, first of all, let's just talk about the artwork. Holy shit! So first of all, I love the artwork that they did for their first release. It was absolutely stunning, very modern looking, yet it kind of reminded me of woodcut kind of artwork, which I absolutely love. So this was actually a collaboration between two artists, and I will link those two artists down in the description below so you can check them out as well. But seriously, look at that, guys. That is just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'm really impressed. So, From the Cradle to the Coffin is Wisborg's second album, and I was beyond impressed by it. They really pushed the boundaries with this one. They're proving to be pretty bold and fearless in the genre of goth music, I must say. Not only do they cross the boundaries of subgenres of goth music, but they are pushing the boundaries of goth music in general. Whew! I'm just loving it, man. This was definitely different from their first album, yet it still retains the same incredible alchemy of sounds and aesthetics. This is heavier, darker, more orchestral, and definitely more atmospheric. This wasn't just an album. This was an operatic goth music experience. And I don't say that lightly. And I don't say that from the more profuse use of classical instrumentation and choirs, but just the way the album was structured. There was an overture, there was a distinctive Act 1, an interlude that revived and reprised the main theme of the overture, and Act 2, and a finale, once again reprising the theme from the overture, leaving you hanging, but in a good way. Just leaving you craving more. Oh! This is wonderful. One thing I appreciated about Wisborg in general is that Konstantin and I share something in common. We are both goths who happen to be classically trained musicians, which I think is pretty cool. Hey, those of you who are goths and classically trained musicians, you need to come out of the closet already, okay? We need more of you. Thank you. For years, I've been shamed for my operatic voice training. those snobs stating that by doing so, I'm betraying the goth subculture, and I should be learning to sing in post-punk style to preserve it, because apparently opera is mainstream. However, Konstantin is not afraid to use his classical training. This was evident even in their first album, but especially in this album. There is an increased use of synthesizers, orchestra, and I was especially impressed by the use of choir in the overture and in the interlude. It really gave it an ethereal quality and overall made the music that much more intoxicating. Ooh, love it. The adding of nuanced layers and layers of music that I loved in the first album have become even more complex and coordinated and purposeful here, as if they weren't enough already. Even when you hear the use of distorted guitar squeals that you often hear in 80s post-punk music, most of which I hate, it's very purposeful and strategic, and I really, really appreciated it. And it's not just noise to fill the void of empty, hollow sound, as you often hear with post-punk music, and that's one of the things I really dislike about it. It's just noisy. And of course, Konstantin's gorgeous voice. Once again, it's rich, emotional, expressive, and his classical training is quite evident. He's not afraid to show it either. And that fearlessness is something that I love about Wisborg. As I've said before, it's a lot like Dave Van Dien's voice in the rich baritone quality, but more operatic and more refined. Konstantin definitely has experimented a lot more with his vocal range in this album, even more so than he did in his previous one. His falsetto, whew, it's what sweet dreams are made of. Now, let's talk a little bit about the tracks. First off, the overture of this album is Danse Macabre. With the previous album, Wisborg showed no mercy in the beginning and hooked you instantly. Danse Macabre is different in the fact that intrigue created by the piano is used to really draw you in. The use of layered voices to create a choir really took my breath away. It seems to pick up where the previous album left off, and I thought that was absolutely brilliant. The next track, The Spirits That I Called, this was the track which was released as a teaser for the album to get us excited for the release. It worked. It really worked. As soon as this was posted, I squealed and played it on YouTube. The combination of the electronic cadences and a real drum set really made this unique. I don't often hear that. As with their previous album, this album is very dancey. Same awesome vocals, great balance between guitar and synthesizers. The addition of the piano and choir was a pleasant surprise. Don't dig deep in the shallow. This definitely screamed dark wave with the balance between the electronic cadence and the drums, stacking layers upon layers of music. The icing on the dark cake was Konstantin's falsetto range. Like I said, sweet dreams are made of this. It was in lovely contrast to the dark, heavier backdrop of the song. It was sinister yet dancey. I don't know how they do it. This was the darker, heavier sister of A Sick Rose from the previous album, which I very much liked. The Reaping. This was quite obviously the main feature of the album, really capturing the aesthetic of the artwork. The piano starts this off, then blossoms with guitar and drums. There's an interlude where spoken word is used, and it really makes this more atmospheric. Vanitas. This is a revival of the melody from the overture, yet it's more atmospheric and spectral. In its structure and melody, this reminded me so much of Camille Saint-Saëns. The vocals on it, once again, were just pure velvet as Konstantin goes into his chest voice and lower range. Just lovely. The choir makes another special appearance here, and I absolutely loved it. It felt so much like spirits were trying to reach our world and communicate with us. Blood is Life. This is by far my favorite track on the album. Oh lord. Not only did I love the sound of it, how dark it was with the synthesizers, drums, guitar, piano, and choir, but I love the lyrics of this one. I really lost myself in it, and listening to the words just really took my breath away and put a tear in my eye. I actually got pretty emotional when I was listening to this. Definitely a lot of good things happening with this album. I definitely love the message of this song because it spoke perfectly in the place I am now in my life. It's romantic, yet it gives me hope for the future. It's just gorgeous. Beautiful and Broken. This one was incredibly interesting. The industrial melodic tones with real drums once again created an incredible soundscape. That's something I rarely hear. Definitely. And what I like the most about this one is the toccata fugue pattern, which was the melody and the guitars. Lyrically, this one was interesting because I've been on the opposite end of this kind of mindset with people from my past. It's definitely something that I could, in a sense, identify with. Sardonic laughter of doomed lovers. Definitely one that speaks of bitter, doomed love. Guitar and piano starts this off with very soft, deep vocals, and there are even times within this particular song where Constantine sounds like Ashton Knight of The Awakening. If you've ever watched any of my videos before, that is a compliment, okay? That's how much his voice impressed me in this particular album. It erupts into guitar, drums, and synthesizers, then shifts to a very goth rock sound, and then fades into rhythmic guitar strokes, piano, and really swells toward the end. I was once again impressed by Constantine's belting of his higher notes. It's really, really good. His voice has a lot of power, and he's definitely experimenting more with it in this album, which I very much appreciate. Apocalypse. This was a little heavier on the dark wave or industrial sound. It was short and sweet, but I really enjoyed it. It had that electronic cadence and drums coming together once again, guitar and gentle vocals. This was romantic, yet self-destructive. And finally, the finale, The Cruelty of Time. Starts off with drums, layers on guitars. It's almost minimalistic, but still quite complex. It's absolutely gorgeous in its melody. The parts with spoken word once again create an eerie mood. It's atmospheric, yet kind of rocky and still dancey. Then the orchestra sound really fleshes everything out. The piano takes over for a brief moment, and then the rest of the sounds resume their power. The guitar gets heavier, and the piano from the interlude and the overture, as I have spoken before, end the piece and the album. The dance macabre melody sounds out once more on the higher octaves of the piano, but it doesn't resolve. It really leaves you wanting more. I can't wait to see what the future holds for Wisborg. I am incredibly excited for what they will do next. They are excellent and quite the testament to multiple subgenres of goth music that we all love. Everyone will find something to like in regard to Wisborg. This album will be released on March 29th, 2019. I would sincerely appreciate it if you guys would consider pre-ordering to support an incredible new goth band. Trust me, you guys will love it. All the links for Wisborg will be in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and things have been a little crazy around here because I started taking care of my grandma's very old and arthritic German Shepherd. So he's been taking up a bit of time for me, and I've still been on the job search / hunt. It's been kind of frustrating. But I really appreciate you guys being patient with me, and I really appreciate you guys supporting me. And I was extremely frustrated when I posted my video last week on Justine by Marquis de Sade because it got demonetized automatically. Within seconds of being uploaded and published to YouTube. I was so pissed. However, I did send it in for review and it got remonetized again. So I really appreciate you guys sticking with me. I appreciate you guys supporting me, and I appreciate that you guys are enjoying the content that I am putting out, because yes, I do enjoy making this content. I love that I found a focus for content that I love, but it just makes it sweeter when you guys enjoy it too. It's a lot of hard work, especially with my new editor. So guys, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later. This shit. Can't even talk. Holy shit.